Wow, some of my favorite teachers. Two come to mind right away. They are very much a part of who I am, my fabric, my DNA currently. The first was Mrs. Horton. Uh, Funny story, to this day, I am now 44 years old. Mrs. Horton is one of my secrets to my security questions. It's crazy, you can't even make this stuff up. Just a sweetheart, so gentle, so nurturing. She truly let me believe that I could do and accomplish anything. And then the second would be Miss Sinclair White. She was my AVID instructor. AVID stands for Advancement via Individual Determination. And those two ladies, so influential in my success. And then the third, and probably the most important, was my mother, Kimberly Folks. She was a teacher at Saunders and Huntington Middle School. So those three ladies, I couldn't speak enough praise about. They embody what Newport News Public Schools was all about. So music was my life. You know, I had every intention on making that my career. And during that time, you know, my mother was very unhealthy. She eventually passed away when I was 20 years old. When you're raised by a single parent and then you lose that parent at such a young age, I think it kind of forces you to choose a path. You know, it's very easy for young people to make the wrong decisions, make poor decisions, and stray from what they've been taught and what they've learned through the first 18, 19 years of life. But I didn't choose that. I chose to kind of rely on everything that I was taught. And I threw myself into the culinary deep end, enrolled in Johnson & Wales University. And I said, man, I also really love this. Yeah, I love music, but I'm also really good at this. I love this. And so just dove straight into the culinary field, and the rest is sort of history. You know, having the willingness to never give up, to keep fighting, to know that there's gonna be some down times, there's gonna be some up times, but you just sort of persevere through all of that. You know, I think that's really the backbone of what AVID was all about, and a product of Newport News Public Schools. I was certainly an AVID poster child in high school as AVID was first kind of taking its maiden voyage. A lot of what I do to this day is sort of built off of the AVID background and foundation. Being prepared, setting charts and making examples and putting things on display, that's very much woven into the AVID fabric. So there's a hallway that exits the bar and leads you to the bathroom. And in this hallway, we have this chart which is full of awards that I've won throughout my culinary career, all the way to the present day, which is when the restaurant opened, because that's a big achievement. And that's what it's all about. You know, I think you work hard for something, you should recognize that and draw attention to it and see how far you've come through your own personal journey. And so that graph is my way of kind of tipping the cap to Newport News Public Schools and to AVID. For me, opening this restaurant was a way to showcase my talent, sure. But it was also a way to kind of give back to the community. You know, I could have chosen to put this restaurant anywhere, but I chose to put it in Newport News, you know, literally 3 miles up the road from where I graduated high school. And some of that is because I wanted young people to see that, hey, look, here's a guy who's from our neighborhood that was successful, that did make it, and I'm right up the street. You know, why take that talent out of this neighborhood? And I think for teachers, it kind of works the same way. You know, what better way for teachers to say, hey, look, this kid is a product of what we're doing. For every one of me, I'm sure there's hundreds and thousands of other young people who have gone on to be successful thanks to the education, the tutelage, the wisdom of all the teachers from the Newport News Public School System.